Hello and welcome back to the second part of this video, which is texturing. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, so the way I textured this is actually textured separately. I have a different texture for the whole body, this, and I use a different texture for the bird here sitting on top of this Jambalaya. So for the first part, this is the final setup. As you can see in the material preview, this is the final setup I use. And yeah, the for the first part, let's preview. For the first part, this is the first part, and I got this texture uh, from Quixel Bridge again, and yeah, I downloaded a wood texture from there, and then I imported it here. We don't need this. So yeah, it was kind of looking nice, kind of wood texture, but I wanted to look something where something brownish, kind of tree. I didn't want it to make it look like a total dead tree. You know, so I again downloaded another texture, which is this. Looks kind of nice, like an yeah, makes it pretty appealing. And then what I did is that I went ahead and combined both the texture, and then it looks like this. But it was but the way it is blending with each other was not quite the way I wanted. So I used the same texture from here and use it on the factor. The factor is like a mask, you can say. It tell Blender which part of the texture to be shown to the view. You know, like example for this part, if I take it away, and if I slide it to this side, it will only show this part of the texture. And if I slide it down here, it will only show this part of the texture. But I wanted to kind of mix together. I wanted it to mix together. So I could just simply scroll it to 0.5, which is kind of in the middle, but it was not, it wasn't really getting me the result that I wanted. So what I did is I used this texture, and then to the factor and then yeah, it is making more subtle changes, which you can't really see from far, but still it's making a big difference. It's the little things that make a huge difference in the real world. Yeah, so what I basically did is I used this image to control the overall uh, texture of it. And for the the woman part, it's very basic. Actually, I just use a simple texture and I blacked it out. You can see I just reduce I reduce it from white to pure black because that is what I wanted. So that's it for the texture of Jambalaya. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next part. That is the front gate. How I textured it. That was a bit complicated in this because it has because that has a lot of the different texture to it in the real one. So yeah. Okay. So this is nothing B, and how this is how it looks like in the material preview. Yeah, this is how I did the texture, and it has a different texture to it. If I show you texture tab and open it, see we have concrete used for different parts of the gate. So yeah, let's start ahead, and I think the wait a minute. This is going to be a very interesting part because it has a lot of textures. As you can see here, has several texture to it. Yeah, so let's start with the head part here for this one, which is I All right, so for this, I just this is the base color. So what I did is I let's unplug everything for now. Okay, so what I did is I did uh, this first, and I wanted to imitate the roof color, um, which I'll show you. Second, I'll show you in a second. Um, I don't know if I still have it, but let's see. If yes, this part. Um, yeah, so I took reference from here exactly. In here you can see that it's like thatch roof, kind of like a thatch roof. So I wanted to the first I wanted to do is do the color. So it's a bit like yellowish kind of thing. You can see here. If I slide this up, it will look a bit like a bit brighter, something like this. And then the way I did is I plugged in the noise, and usually initially it will be like this. Yeah, it will be like this initially. As you can see, it's a total mess. And I wanted to in thatch roof. Usually, what happens is it's kind of like a streak going from the top to the bottom. So as you can see in here, it's like a thatch roof. Sorry for the background, guys. If you hear different voices, there are a lot of people outside that know what they're doing. But yeah, and to do that, I scale it going like this, maybe 5. You can see the streaks going that way, and yeah. So if you scale it really, uh, it is really high number like 12. Yeah, you can see it going like this. It's like a streaks. If you look from here, you can see it's almost like a touch of. And by no means I'm an expert in texturing, so I use the most basic way of doing it. So that's the thing, and I wanted to make it a bit more contrasty. I wanted the black part to go black, and I want the brightest part to shine more bright. So the way I do this is I added this color up here, which if I plug in here, yeah, will give you a bit more contrast. So, as you can see, it will give you a bit more contrast, and the whitest part will go like this to make it more contrasty. So yeah, obviously it's not realistic. It is not, and of course it is not even close to the original. But uh, yeah, I'm still learning, so hopefully I'll be able to do it one day. And yeah, that's how I did for this one. And for the texturing of this concrete, like take for any concrete, I pretty much this is the setup. I pretty much use texture from bridge again, pixel bridge, as you can see here, and then I slapped it and I mixed it with different texture of concrete. There it could be different things, like some concrete texture are too clean, and some are a bit too rough. So yeah, I kind of mix those two together to make it look like this closely. And maybe the scale is a bit too big here, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, and these two I apply one of the texture, and the same thing happened, I think. And yeah, this is an import, so it's already textured. And yeah, the same with all this, since it's all made with concrete. So I pretty much gave everything that takes the same concrete to each of these. And for this part, I use the same. Um, yeah, this one. So the way I did it is I imported the same flag. I'll show you. Shift A, use an image texture, and then I import the same picture like previously, uh, this one, and then I plugged it, here, which looks like this. And then if you have um, the Wrangler add-on enabled, which can be enabled using edit, preferences, and then add-ons, and node Wrangler. If it's not on by default, start it on, and then by pressing Ctrl and T, it will automatically add the map and the texture coordinator. So I think we need that. See, yeah, I went ahead and rotate it this way, yeah, 180 degree, and then or not 180. I think it's supposed to be horizontal, right? So yeah, horizontal. But first, let's scale it smaller, like this. And now, sure, yeah, something like this, 90, and then scale it. uh, Scale it up, and then we can scale this one down, maybe 2. So yeah, that's basically how I made texture for this one. So yeah, that's it for the texture of this. It's pretty simple actually. There's no, yeah, if you want something to do manually, then yeah, it's your choice. But you'll see most of the 3D artists use texture from like Quixel Bridge, the way I use in here, or from different sources to texture their models. So yeah, this one. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, that is Notepad, and I'll show you how exactly I textured Notepad as well. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so here we are in Notepad, and this is how it's looking right now. It has different kind of texture, apart from the concrete. Also for the concrete, I use a different kind of concrete material for this, and I use a metal kind of texture for it. So uh, if you open up, as you can see, there are a lot of materials here. So let's see. Yep. Also very simple. Downloaded this texture. If you go to Quixel Bridge, you'll find different kinds of metal texture. Some are very shiny, some are very rough, and then I got this one, and yeah, just pretty much textured it. And the way you can texture it is, I'll show you. For example, A, say for example BFDS, which is this. By default you'll get this and this, and not this. So if you have the not regular add-on, you just press Ctrl Shift and T, and you go to for here I got some texture, like any of this texture. For example, let's say this, a road texture. The way you do it is select all of it and then press this, and then see, and then you'll get a texture. And that's basically how I did it for all of this. And so now this should be here. Yeah, it's not working correctly because the texture, I will have to again remap it, but it's okay. It's just the way I just showed you how I do my texturing. It's very easy. Yeah, for this one, let's connect it to the right place. yeah, it's quite easy, and you just have to apply different. You just have to apply according to your need, and then resize it for the floor. I have different materials. You can see here different things of them. Concrete, different material. I and then I can rescale the whole thing. How much I want it to be, and I set it around 4. By default, it will be 1 like this, which is too big, and then so I scaled it down like this to make it realistic. Yeah, so this is the texture for this one, and yeah, so that's it for the texturing part. Pretty easy. So that's basically it, and it's pretty simple if you get all the materials yourself. But even if you want to do it yourself, you can do it. Yeah, of course you'll have to practice what different nodes means and how it works. It will be time consuming when you learn it for the first time, but yeah, it's gonna worth it. But yeah, in my case, I use all the texture I got online, and yeah, it will give me the same result anyway. So yeah, why waste time? Yeah, so yeah, that's it for the texturing, and thank you for watching.